Sports Talk. Here's your host, Alan Michael.
It's time to play ball.
Welcome to Sports Talk, Sports Talk. I am Alan Michael, talking sports with you each and every single day. I want to thank those of you who have subscribed to the YouTube channel and the podcast on iTunes and all the other podcatcher gimmicks. Thank you for your support. Don't forget that all the shows are located both on the YouTube channel and the website, sportstalk.com. So if you don't catch the live stream, which I tweet out at Alan Maggle, AlanMaggle, you can always listen to my piping hot sports takes on demand. My takes are the hottest because I am the best sports talker and the fittest one of them all. And you know it, and I'm going to show it. Today, I have to admit, I am eagerly anticipating the resumption of the MLB season. The All-Star game and all the hoopla surrounding it, that was all well and good, but I'm ready for the action to kick back into high gear. As a Pirates fan, this All-Star break it was just jerking me around because the Buccos ended the first half of the season with a cannonball blast. Call Clint Hurdle and the Buccos butter because they were on a roll before the All-Star break. But it all means diddly poo tomorrow when they get back on the field and they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. And the pot stirrers and the hype machines and the sports media are even worse off than I am today. If you watched any of this today or listened to any of it, today is the traditional International Day of Prayer for all sports media. Let's give them something to talk about. That's all they were singing all day. Begging for something to happen to talk about. All summer they're singing this, the rest of the summer at least. But I'm fine clanging and banging with what's going on today myself. As much as I miss baseball, can't wait for tomorrow, I am hype about a few things going on today, none of which are the British Open. I'll talk that on Sunday with you. Maybe. Today I'm talking a few things. I'm talking Plexico Burress, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, and one of my most hated sports icons, Lennox Lewis. And then later on I'm also going to have a fun little gimmick to close the show. But first, we got to talk about the undisputed, undefeated, universally recognized baddest female on the planet, the UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion of the World, Rowdy Ronda Rousey. Last night, Ronda was awarded Best Fighter at the ESPYs. And during her acceptance speech, which came on the red freaking carpet for some reason, she had words. She had particular words for a particular individual named Floyd Money Mayweather. She beat Money Mayweather out for the award. And she said, and I quote, "I wonder how Floyd feels being beat by a woman for once. I'd like to see him pretend not to know who I am now." Whoa. Yikes. The match is never going to happen unless maybe if Floyd Mayweather gets into acting when he retires, maybe we could see it in like the Expendables 5 or something. But the fight's never going to happen. I doubt Mayweather even responds. So let's just go ahead and crown Ronda Rousey the winner of the match between her and Floyd Money Mayweather. She wins via verbal TKO. Floyd cannot go out and verbally joust, as bad as he even wants to probably, with Ronda. Because the Money team suffered enough in the eyes of women, so that'd be so stupid for him to say anything. But this was freaking priceless. This was amazing. A taste of his own medicine for everybody who hates Floyd Mayweather. This was a crowning moment. This might be the best and the closest you ever get to seeing him lose. Mayweather claimed not to know who Ronda was in an interview, but I could pretty much guarantee, like Ronda said, he damn sure knows who Ronda Rousey is now. Floyd Mayweather's ability to hype, to promote, and work an audience, ultimate heel. And it's difficult to contend with. But I'm going to say right now that in pro sports today, the only person who comes close, I don't know if she's as good as him, but she comes close, it's Ronda Rousey. And as good as of a promo as that was that she cut on Mayweather, I just cannot get over the fact that Ronda was handed the award on the red carpet. Like, she wasn't announced on stage, presented, given the hoopla. She was given the award outside of the damn building. Like she was just some jabroni no one ever heard of. This was supposed to be a night of inspiration, I thought. And ESPN, you are going to sit there and tell me that the most famous and important modern female athlete isn't good enough to take your stage and accept her award? Imagine the impact it would have had on Mayweather's ego, on all the people who hate Mayweather, on all the little girls watching the ESPYs, all the little boys watching the ESPYs. In front of millions of people, that would have been magical. If she would have cut that promo on the stage, not the red carpet. But obviously, there's some logic to this. Obviously, ESPN had a motive. And it's got to be because they're competing with Fox. Fox has the UFC brand. This was a business decision, for sure. But that only highlights, the thing I already knew, and I never watch them. But it highlighted to me that how truly unimportant the ESPYs are. Okay, I'll give you that they've given us some incredible speeches, sure. Valvano, the Stuart Scott stuff. Yes, I know, it's all inspirational. It is heartwarming. It's great stuff, great television. But the ESPYs, don't get it twisted, are a vehicle to promote Mickey Mouse's brand of sports entertainment. ESPN did a disservice to there is a giant women's sports movement going on right now, in case you didn't notice. World Cup, Ronda Rousey, even professional wrestling, as I wedge my favorite sport into the show once again. But ESPN did a disservice to this movement by handing this Best Fighter award to Ronda Rousey on the red freaking carpet. What a shame. At Alan Maggle on Twitter, AlanMaggle. Follow me. Go to SportsTalk, SportsTalk.com. That's the website. You can check all the episodes right there or on the YouTube page. Subscribe, like it, whatever you got to do. Follow it. And if you want to say something without the chains of brevity that come with Twitter, you can hit me on the email, sportstalk@gmail.com. Now, while the sports stars were shining bright in Hollywood yesterday, deep down south, the most important man in the South held court. Nick Saban took the podium and made the rounds at SEC Media Day on Wednesday. Bama fell short last year. We all know it. And in the SEC, that's just going to spur all sorts of questions. And it's the most hyped and overhyped college conference, maybe just division in all of sports. It's ridiculous. And so he was taken to task by these SEC media folks, the good old boys down south, and Saban himself is making excuses already, it appears, for losing to Ohio State last year. And one of his ex-players in particular seems to be thinking that. Plexico Burress, who played under Nick Saban at Michigan State, after hearing Saban's comments yesterday, Plex took to Twitter, guns a-blazing. Saban was asked about the college football playoff last year and losing to Ohio State, and here's where his apparent excuse came. He said he believes some of his players may have been distracted because NFL draft grades were released prior to the game and maybe they weren't focused. And then he went on a kind of a rant calling for the dates of player grades to come out later, The dates players can declare for the draft to come out to start later after these playoff and championship games are played, which make total sense. Those make sense. But this, come on, Saban, seriously. I haven't heard this from Urban Meyer. I haven't heard this from anybody else who was playing in the postseason. This is only coming from you, Nick, and it just stinks like a dirty excuse from Saban's caboose. I would have thought Saban's players were mentally tougher than that, too. I mean, come on. Nick Saban's supposed to be this incredible motivator. And Plexico Burress was not having it. Plex shot up Twitter with some scalding hot takes on Nick Saban. And Plexico did a pretty fine job. He laid it out perfectly in a series of tweets here. Here they are. Plexico Burress. At Plexico Burress. I recall Nick Saban telling me to stay in school, finish what I started. I wasn't a first-round pick, and he left for LSU before the season was over. Now Nick Saban goes on TV saying that kids are distracted by NFL projections. Well, the kids are just chasing a dream that you were. $, $. And Saban looked his players in the face at the Duff, said he wasn't leaving. I'm committed to the program, and was gone the next day. True story, TRU. And finally from Plexico Burress, now Nick Saban, players are being distracted by the NFL and chasing a dream. Ha ha, tell your story, Nick. LSU showed you money. You was gone. Ha! And he has a point. The excuse was pretty lame. How's Nick Saban going to criticize kids like that when he did the same thing? Maybe your hero, Alabama, isn't such a hero. But I know it's hard for you to see that. But the rest of the country does. And it's just so easy to root against Nick Saban in Alabama. All right, up next on my piping hot takes night, Thursday, July the 16th, 2015. Let's talk a little boxing. And we all know heavyweight boxing is awful now. Deontay Wilder is giving us a glimmer of hope, sure. And if you haven't heard of him, he has a claim to a heavyweight championship, but by no means is he the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He will never bring heavyweight boxing out of the dark ages until he vanquishes Vlad Klitschko. We all know it. And even then, it's going to be hard to save heavyweight boxing. But the last man that we actually cared to see defend the heavyweight championship, Lennox Lewis, was on Canada's incredible sports interview show on TSN called Off the Record. Very candid television show. Highly recommended. On the show, Lennox Lewis, he said something that obviously caught my attention, and I'm sure a lot of you. Lennox Lewis told a story that back in 2002, he claims that Vince McMahon and the WWE offered him $5 million to face the one and the only beast, Brock Lesnar, at WrestleMania. And he says he turned it down after a serious consideration, but ultimately, because WWE wanted him to wear boxing gloves during the fight, he declined. All right, I don't know if they wanted him to wear boxing gloves and Brock not to. That'd be like wearing handcuffs, especially against Brock Lesnar, even in a fake fight. I find it hard to believe also, considering I've been reading wrestling dirt sheets since before I could read an entire book. And I never heard of this. But of course, it sounds like something WWE would be interested in. I mean, Floyd Mayweather was involved. Mike Tyson is a Hall of Famer in the WWE. Muhammad Ali was at WrestleMania 1. It makes total sense. Lewis versus Lesnar, though. Wow. That would have been unbelievable. The electricity, dare I say it, in the building that night would have been so intense and so thick, you could have cut it with a knife. I have precious few sports figures I despise. Lennox Lewis is one of them. Nothing personal. Just because he always beat my guys. I always rooted against him. And I was just completely crushed when he made Mike Tyson look like Peter McNeely. And I don't blame him for turning it down. $5 million seems like pennies when considering you have to step into the ring with the soon-to-be WWE heavyweight champion of the world, beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. All right. I hit all my bullet points. I got another show to do after this. If you're listening on the live stream, right after this, and you like pro wrestling, just talked a little Brock Lesnar. If you're digging this and you're digging the wrestling stuff, go over to Brainbuster Radio's YouTube channel, where we're going to stream live shortly after this broadcast ends. But before I close this show, I feel that it is my obligation to pay homage as a grizzled young radio veteran to a long-standing tradition in sports talk radio that I hold near and dear to my heart, and that is the Midsummer Kill Time Sports Talk Radio segment. You hear them all the time this time of year, and you love them. A perfect segment, throwing out shit just to pass the time while we wait for the NFL to save us. Game time, buy or sell, good idea or bad idea, this or that. You love them, I love them. And I am not above this wonderful tradition. So with the baseball trade deadline just 2 weeks away, July 31st, I believe, what moment is better than right here, right now, than to have a little fun with a little sports talk radio killer?
It's another Sports Talk radio gimmick. Let's kill some time with Sports Talk's Do...
Oh no, there's a man down.
Or...
Okie dokie, it's Do or Die on Sports Talk. I am Alan Michael, and joining me right now is my lovely producer, Pittsburgh Al. Pittsburgh Al, you ask the questions, I'll tell you if they do it or they die. Okay, Alan, a lot of teams are harboring some serious talent that could get good gets for them if they are willing to pull the trigger and make some deals. You're stuttering a little bit, Alan. Why don't you focus on just reading, pushing the buttons, let me do my job. Okay, sir. Sellers seem to include the Phillies, the Reds, and even the Tigers. These teams have some hot commodities that they need to make decisions on now. Do or die. Make the deal or face the consequences. The most talked about and interesting name has got to be Cole Hamels. He is a solid and unquestionable number one ace languishing in the muck that is Philadelphia. Stingy Ruben Amaro has been himself in regards to Hamels and Jonathan Papelbon. What are you talking about? Papelbon is begging to leave Philly. Trade Cole Hamels for some fresh faces. Do or die. Do it! You gotta do it! Come on, Ruben Amaro, do it! Make the deal! Amaro wants and should get something huge for Hamels. Hamels is 31. He has a contract that runs through 2019. And unlike the usual rental players around this time of year, Hamels is a guy another team is going to be getting for 3+ years. So they're going to need to cough up something damn good, and I believe they will for Amaro. So Amaro's got to put it out there. He's got to sell Hamels hard. I think the Phillies will do the right thing and sign the paper sending Hamels off to a team with deep pockets, like the Dodgers or the Yankees. So don't expect to see Hamels in the city of brotherly love once August 1st around. Next, Pittsburgh Al. Johnny Cueto posts a better ERA than Cole Hamels, but unlike Hamels, his contract is up after the season. The Reds shopping Cueto out to the highest bidder. Do or die? Do it! Do it! Cueto's next 15 starts are not that valuable to the Reds. They're kind of done. I mean, they sure, we got a whole half of the season, but they just don't have the firepower to keep up in this vicious National League race. So you have Johnny Cueto, a wonderful pitcher. ERA's under 3 all the time. Sell his next 15 starts for a premium. You got pitching prospects in Cincinnati. 4 of their top 5 best minor leaguers are pitchers. So get an infielder. Get a damn shortstop. Get some cash to throw at Todd Frazier. The people in Cincinnati seem to like that guy. Cut Cueto loose. James Shields signed 4 years, $75 million to go to San Diego and pitch for the Padres in the first half of the season. He's pitching a 4.01 ERA. Why don't you slow down and not sound like a robot, Pittsburgh Al? Okay, sorry. His worst ERA since 2010. Admit the quick rebuild approach was a mistake and trade away Shields before he looks any worse. Do or die for the Padres. Die! Don't do it, San Diego. Kill it. Kill this deal. First of all, his deal's kind of like Hamill's. Not as much money, but if he goes somewhere, he's staying there for longer than the rest of this season. Hamill's at least looks good, even though he can't get a win in Philadelphia. Shields looks bad and is losing, and he's in a pitcher's park. He has kind of a silver lining. He's striking out more guys, but he's averaging giving up a home run a game. He's giving up a ton of runs. But he's getting craftier. He's striking guys out. He's a proven value pitcher. I say ride the wave of frustration out. I wouldn't give up on James Shields just yet. Kill the deal! Don't be so reactionary, San Diego, for the love of God. Next and last. End it, please, for the love of God. Okay, finally, David Price of the Tigers, Alan, like Johnny Cueto, is due to get paid this offseason. Somewhere around $150 million. Trade David Price away. Detroit Tigers, do or die. Die, die, die. Time to die! Kill that notion now, Tigers. You're the friggin' Tigers. You're going to need David Price. Come on. I mean, look, first of all, you're still in the thick of it when it comes to the playoff race. You're not the Tigers they have all the weapons still. They're not at the bottom of the barrel by any stretch of the imagination. And then once Miguel Cabrera's back, I guarantee you, in all likelihood, they're going to be at the top of the wild card race or even maybe caught up to Kansas City. There's nothing they are going to get that helps them in 2015 more than David Price could. Haven't the people of Detroit suffered enough? Kill the idea of trading David Price away right now. Die, die, die. If you're going to die, die with your boots on if you're going to die. All right, having a little sports talk radio fun with you on Sports Talk, Sports Talk. We'll catch your asses tomorrow. Don't forget, go to SportsTalk, All the shows are there. Go to the YouTube page and subscribe. You subscribe, and we show up on the top of that list when people search Sports Talk. And then we become world famous, and then we bring you all along for the ride. Of course, on Twitter, at Alan Maggle, AlanMaggle. You could give me a follow there. Or email me all your hate mail and your love. SportsTalk at gmail.com. I'm going to go talk some pro wrestling with my fellow pro wrestling nerds. So after that, I'm going to get some sleep. And then I'll meet you back here to talk sports on Sports Talk, Sports Talk. Good night, everybody.